guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Karima Monet. So today we'll be talking about my birth story, and I've been wanting to do this video for the past 3.5 months, but being a mom, yeah. So I'm finally like in the groove of things and getting used to everything. We have like a little schedule and all that stuff. Right now he's with his dad, so this is the perfect time to go ahead and do this. But honestly, it wasn't, well, okay, my whole pregnancy I really didn't want to think about the whole like labor and delivery, because I was just like, I don't want to scare myself, I don't want to make myself nervous, because I've always been interested in things like that since I was little. So I already knew like a lot of things, especially like with me these recent years, like starting to listen to like podcasts and stuff about it. And so I know all like the things that could go right, the things that could go wrong and all that stuff. So I just didn't want to think about, I even stopped listening to the podcast. I didn't want to scare myself, because now it's real. So for one, well, no, already, okay, so yeah. So I guess we'll just start like the week before he was born, because really he was supposed to be born, his due date was June 18th, and he did not come June 18th. He came before that. Could be my fault, could be him, don't know, but well, could be both. But anyway, so like the week before, right, the week before, like June 10th was really supposed to be my last day at work, and it wasn't. So that whole week I was like, yeah, Friday is my last day, you know, I'm about to go have this baby real quick and, you know, be gone for like 12 weeks. I'll be back, I thought. But yeah, we had this new manager or whatever, and we're gonna call her M. But we had this new manager that randomly came one day within the last few weeks, didn't even introduce herself to nobody. That's one thing about some of these managers, they don't introduce themselves and they just immediately go into like micromanaging rage mode, you know what I mean? So the last couple months of me being pregnant, that's when everything started slowing down for me at work. They started letting me, you know, do customer service, sitting down, having my own little chair or whatever. And for the most part, nobody complained about it, not even customers. I had like a couple customers that were just being assholes, you know. It was like, why aren't you standing up and all that, like, just obviously you see this big belly, and I was all belly, so it was just heavier for me. It's just like whatever, you know. But I didn't run into too many of those kind of customers, so it's like for the most part everybody was like cooperating with me, you know, letting me sit down when I needed to, because this boy was heavy, okay? He was heavy. So I even started wearing Crocs because I couldn't fit my shoes anymore. Like, it was ridiculous, which I had to get a doctor's note for when obviously my feet were huge. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I started sitting down, all that stuff. Now, one thing about me, I am not a dirty person. I like to clean and all that stuff. So it's like when you're working in customer service, you're behind like this desk and it's like closed off and everything. And one thing about me, I was gonna keep my area clean, but the managers would come in and the department managers will come in, they'll have their stuff, you know, all off to the side in their own little space or whatever. And I don't touch that stuff. One, because I ain't do it. Two, it's their stuff that they need, so I don't mess with that. I don't touch it. As long as my space is clean, that's all I care about. So she was starting to like, literally in the last week, she was starting to come over, and she was like, can you like clean this up and all that stuff? Can you like straighten up over here? And I looked at her, I was just like, okay. But I didn't do it. Cause I'm like, girl, don't you, like, no. And obviously it's not my mess. So I didn't do it. But then she started complaining to one of my like direct assistant managers, and she was like, well, how come, why is she always sitting down? Like, why does she ever get up or anything like that? Like, that's unprofessional and all that stuff. He was looking at her like she was stupid. And he was like, well, she's pregnant. And she was like, well, I worked up until I went into labor. I was pregnant too, this and that. And he was like, well, if you got a problem with it, you tell her then. And he never told me, obviously he told me what she said, but he never told me like, hey, you need to get up and do this and that. He was like, she's pregnant. Like, she's literally 9 months pregnant. Relax. So she was literally complaining like the whole first half of that week about why I was sitting down when I'm literally big as hell. Like, so fast forward, like, so like the first 3 days of that week, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then come Thursday, I come into work. I'm only there for like an hour or two. I was only there for like 2 hours, I want to say. And out of nowhere, I just started feeling like pains, but like I was just like, maybe I'm just like overworked, maybe I'm just tired, like, but my body was just hurting. But it didn't necessarily feel like late, like what people say labor would feel like, or like contractions would feel like. So I was like, I don't know, maybe I need to go home. And so I went and told my manager, or one of my managers, I was like, hey, like my body's hurting, I think I need to leave. Like, you know, that's fine. I mean, I was gonna leave anyway, but I was like, if that's fine with you, I was gonna leave anyway, yeah. But I was like, yeah, I gotta go. And so they both looked at me like, oh Lord, like it's about to happen. And I'm just still sitting there like, yeah, my body's just hurting. So I left. And then on my way out to leave, I was on the phone with my mom telling her like I'm about to leave. And she was like, turn back around, go tell them you're not coming tomorrow, because the next day was supposed to be my last day. She was like, tell them you're not coming tomorrow. And I was like, are you sure? Are you sure? And she's like, Karima, go tell them that you're not coming tomorrow. So I went, I was like, hey, I'm not gonna come tomorrow. So I go, I leave work early, and my mom, so like my husband, he still had to go to work, of course. So he went to work, and my mom was like, you know, you need to come to my house. So he actually took me to my mom's house because she didn't want me to be alone. So I go to her house, and I just like the last few weeks of my pregnancy, I was already nesting. So but for some reason, like this day, I was like, I gotta do something. I can't just sit down. Like I felt like I had to do everything. So I just started cleaning and cleaning and cleaning. Like I was just cleaning my mom's house for like just for no reason. Like I was just mopping the floors and all that. My mom was like, Karima, sit down. Sit down. You are going to go into labor tonight. Sit down. And I was like, no, I'm gonna be fine. Like, it's okay. I was like, I'm gonna be fine. It's okay. And so I keep mopping and stuff. And I'm like, girl, it's okay. So then I was fine, obviously, that night. So then the next day, Friday, I go back to her house because she doesn't want me alone. So I do the same thing over. And she's like, Karima, like she was really like about to cuss me out. Like she was getting a little irritated with me. But I was like, Mama, like I literally cannot help it. Like I knew my body was still hurting, but I was just like, I can't sit down. Like I don't know, I just can't sit down. And so that's how I was feeling like the whole weekend. And I was literally talking to my son. I was like, look, I know I'm up doing all this, but Mama needs you not to come until after Sunday, because my brother was graduating high school on Sunday. So I was like, you come whenever you want to after that. Like whenever you want to after that, that is fine with me. But you can't come before Sunday because I have to go to this graduation. So so fast forward to Sunday. That was also the day that I was supposed to take my maternity pictures, like late as hell. So I go and I start taking my maternity pictures, which my camera it's really bothering me, but I actually can't do anything about it, but it's like tilted. Like, anyway, whatever. I hope it's not bothering anyone, but anyway. So it's like my maternity pictures that same day as my brother's graduation. So I'm gonna insert pictures, but you see my stomach, my belly is like, it's low, but it's not like low. But right after those pictures, I go to my brother's graduation, and I had told my family, I was like, look, we need to sit down there where, or at least me, need to sit down there where like the handicap is, because I'm not trying to climb all the way up there, and obviously like I need to be sitting down there. So like at least me and my husband, you know, like sit down there. No, for whatever reason, they thought it would be a good idea to go to the tippy top of the Coliseum. And I'm like, yo, I'm climbing up all these stairs. Everyone's looking at me like, oh, like, you know, she's pregnant. She's really pregnant. And like, I'm just like, yeah, I gotta climb up these stairs. And you know, it was whatever. You know, I was good, but it was just like, dang, I gotta climb up all these stairs, and then I gotta go back down. Like, so I'm gonna insert more pictures, but literally right after the graduation, my belly just dropped like tremendously. Like, it was crazy. I didn't even realize it until after, and I saw the pictures. And so we my body was feeling fine that night, but the next morning, Monday morning, June 13th, which was actually my great grandmother's birthday, June 13th, that Monday morning, I had my last doctor's appointment. And so we, me and my husband, we go, and at that point I'm like 39 weeks, 3 days. And so still I'm not supposed to have a baby until June 18th, that Saturday. And so we get there, and you know, she checks how dilated. At first I wasn't going to check how dilated I was. I was kind of pushing that back. I didn't really necessarily want to, because I was like, it's going to be so uncomfortable, and it wasn't as bad. But she checked me, and I was 2 centimeters dilated. I said, wow. Like, it's happening. It's like, it's really about to happen. And so she was like, do you want to strip your membranes? Like, we can do that if you want to. And my husband immediately was like, yes. And I looked at him, I was like, do we? And he was like, yeah, just go ahead and do it. And I was like, oh my gosh. Because I also heard about stripping your membranes. It's like, hurt. But it wasn't as bad as people would say. Or maybe it's just my pain tolerance. It was not as bad as people say, for me personally. So I was like, yeah, okay, go ahead. She stripped it. I was 3 centimeters. She was like, now, don't expect it, or don't be disappointed if you don't go into labor today, or like, you know, tomorrow. Like, it's gonna happen within these next couple of days, but don't be disappointed if it doesn't happen immediately. And I was like, okay, you know, that's fine. And so literally as soon as we were leaving out of the doctor's office, like driving out and all that, and I was supposed to have another doctor's appointment, technically, like just in case he didn't come on his due date, because technically, you know, when you're a first-time mom, you can tend to go like past your due date. So they had another one for the next Monday, and which was the 20th. So as soon as we leave out of the doctor's office and we're driving out and all that stuff, I had my first contraction, and I was like, ooh, what is that? I was like, wow, that was really uncomfortable. And he was like, babe, I don't know. He's like, I don't know, should I go to work? And I was like, yeah, just go to work, I'll be fine. So we, and that was around like 12 noon. And so we get back home, and I had another one. And I was like, I was still in denial. I was like, no, I'm fine. So he was still talking about something, well, babe, maybe I should stay home. I was like, no, just go to work. Like, I'm gonna be okay. And so he leaves for work around like 1:30 or whatever. And so I'm at home, and I'm talking to my mom and I'm talking to him, like just, you know, back and forth off the phone, because he's checking on me and I'm just talking to my mom. And at that point, my contractions had got to about like, they were about like 30 minutes apart, but as soon as he left, that's when it jumped to like 20 minutes apart. And so I'm on the phone with my mom after getting off the phone with him, and I'm saying like, I'm just talking. I don't even know what I was talking about. I just forgot. And then I'm just talking to her, and I had another contraction, and I just stopped talking, and she hears on the phone, and she's like, Kareem, are you okay? And I still wasn't talking. And then I, like, when the contraction was over, I was like, yeah, so like whatever. I'm just continuing the conversation, and she's like, Karima, you just had a contraction. And I was like, did I really? This whole time I'm just so in denial, and because I'm just expecting me to go past my due date, and that's just what they tell you, like, you're gonna go past your due date, probably, more than likely. And so she was like, Kareem, you just had a contraction and you don't sound good. And I was like, Mama, I'm okay. So she actually comes, she's like, no, Kareem, I'm on my way, you need to go to the hospital. I was like, do I really need to go to the hospital? Do I really? And she's like, Karima, like, at this point I feel like my mom was just so irritated with me. She's like, Karima, you're going to the hospital today, and I'm on my way, stay on the phone with me. And then I had another contraction, so that it jumped from 30 minutes to 20 minutes to 10 minutes apart. And I'm like, and I'm still telling my mom, I'm like, I'm okay, girl. She's like, Karima, I'm on my way. So I was like, okay, let me call Daquan. So I tell him, I was like, hey, my mom's on her way. She said I need to go to the hospital. And he like completely went into panic mode. Like he just started like telling his foreman and stuff, like, yeah, my wife, my fiance, she's about to go into labor. Like we're about to go to the hospital. Like, he's getting like real like panicky and all this stuff and nervous. And I'm still on the phone like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine, I'm okay. So I feel like if I would have stayed and I didn't, I'm so glad something told me, call your mom and talk to your mom for nothing. Because if I didn't, I would have had that baby at home. I would have had him at home, and nobody would have known, like, because I still would have been like, head out and everything, like, yeah, I think I'm fine. Like, no, he was coming. So my mom is still on the phone with me. My fiance, my husband now, he calls his grandmother to come, because she lives like right around the corner from us. So she comes to take me, and my mom and my grandma are gonna meet us there at the hospital, which the hospital's down the street from me too. So she comes, and I'm grabbing all my bags, like still like chilling. But during the contractions, I'm like, okay, hold on a second, like just kind of feel uncomfortable. But then I will go right back to being normal. So we're leaving now. When I get in the car, I have another contraction. And so the hospital is about, without traffic, it's about 5 minutes from my house. So I get in the car, I have my contraction, and then when we get like 2 minutes from the hospital, or let's say like a minute from the hospital, like around the corner from the hospital, I have another one. And I'm like, wow, that's about 6 minutes. Like, so that was 6 minutes apart. And then literally when I was getting out the car to go into the hospital, I had another one. So at that point it was like 4 minutes. So I get in there, and my grandma, she pulls out the cause she was already there. My mom hauled ass up to this hospital because she lives like 25 minutes away from me. So my grandma was already out there waiting for me with the wheelchair. So I get in the wheelchair and I'm still calm, bro. Like, and then we get in there. I'm waiting for them to, like, you know, for the nurse to come out and grab me. And my mom took a picture of me and everything. And I had another contraction. And so My baby's crying. My husband has him though, so he's fine. But they take me, and my contractions literally 4 minutes apart. And we get up to the triage, and well, first I'm like, you know, doing the registry thing because I did not register at the hospital yet. And I didn't register at the hospital yet, so there was actually a whole lot of things I was supposed to finish doing that week. And like I was supposed to give y'all like what's in my hospital bag video and everything that week, but my son had other plans. So I was doing all that, I was filling all that stuff out, and I was still having a contractions like 4 minutes apart. And I get into triage, and that's when she had checked me again. And at that point I'm like 4 centimeters, so that's normally when they keep you there. Like I'm now going home. So at that point it's like 2 something. And my husband's still on the way. I got my mom there with me. And I was texting my best friend. I was like, yo, I feel like a punk because all I want is my mom. Because like whenever she had to like step out or whatever, I was like, I just want my mom. I want my mom. And I'm still waiting on my husband to get there. And my mom is in there with me. I'm 4 centimeters dilated. So they're still like, they're not acting like they're not trying to take care of me or anything like that, but they were moving slow because they're expecting me to go longer, like for this to be like a long process, because this is my first baby. So they're not expecting me to go as quickly. So and I left this out. My baby is watching Cars right now, but I left this out. They even said that like after everything was said and done, like this is the fastest, smoothest labor and delivery that they've ever seen for a first-time mom. Like, so that's, you know, they wasn't expecting that at all. But yeah, she was like, yeah, I'm gonna come back check on you in like an hour or so, whatever. I'm like, okay. So my contractions started getting like quicker. Like by 3 o'clock my contractions were 2 minutes apart. So because my mom was like sitting there timing everything, so it was about at like two minutes apart. So I'm like, dang, like it's about to happen. So my husband finally gets there, and at this point, like the lady did ask me, the nurse asked me, she was like, do you want epidural right now? I was like, I'm gonna wait till, you know, it gets like at a pain level of like 7. And then I'm gonna be like, okay. So eventually it did get to that. By like 4 o'clock it got to a 7 pain level, and I was like, yeah, let's go ahead and get that epidural ready. And that takes like about an hour or so itself. So they switched me over to the room that I'm gonna be in giving birth, to my labor and delivery room. And so I'm still waiting on the epidural. And it's getting like to the point where it's just like unbearable. Like you could see my contractions on the screen, and I'm just like, yo, this is getting a lot. This is a lot right now. This is a lot. And I had started playing, like I had a gospel playlist, and so I was playing that to keep me calm and all that stuff, and just to bring him into the world, like just, you know, positive energy and stuff like that. So I had that playing with the speaker, and everything was like kind of going really like faster than I thought. And I'm still like, wow, like I'm still not processing the fact that I'm about to have a baby. And so my husband, he's there with me, and he just like still kind of like panicking and all that stuff. My best friend is there. Our whole like almost our whole family was there basically, in the waiting room. You know, my mom was in there, his mom, my grandma was in and out. So my grandma, she's not good with blood and things like that. So it gets to the point where we're trying to figure out like what positions will like help with pain and like also help with labor, because now I got the epidural. And of course, like when you get the epidural, everything slows down, the labor slows down. So that's exactly what it did. And So she was like, you know what, you can bounce on the ball. And I was like, I don't want to do that. She was like, you can walk through well, before I had the epidural, she was like, you can walk through the halls and all that stuff, bounce on the ball. I was like, I don't want to do any of that for some reason. So I get the epidural, and she was like, I could give you the peanut ball to put in between your legs, but how about, she did something like, so like, she was like, I just start doing this, like it was like her own little DIY thing that she did or whatever. But she had got, you know, like the table that they give you for, you know, when you're eating your food and stuff like that. She had brought that over, put my left leg on top of it, and lifted it up as high as I was comfortable with it going. She lifted it up like real high for me. And she was like, all right, we're gonna sit like this for like 45 minutes. And I'm gonna switch you onto the other side. And let me know when you feel like you have to poop and all that stuff. And I was like, all right, cool. Now mind you, the last time they checked me to see how dilated I was 4 centimeters. Now at this point, it's like, I don't even know what time it is at this point actually, like, but it is nighttime. The sun did go down. So I'm sitting there like, all right, these contractions are quicker. They're like a minute apart now at this point. And I was like, not even a full 45 minutes. I'm like, I feel like I have to poop. And like, so she comes back in, and I let her know. She's like, okay, well, let me go ahead and check you, because it wasn't the whole 45 minutes. She's like, let me go ahead and check you, see where you at. So she checks me. She's like, yeah, that's about 10 centimeters. So now this whole time, like I said, it was my June 13th is my great grandmother's birthday, and I'm actually named after her. So my mom and my grandma was like he has to be born on this day. He has to. And so I'm like, okay, like, you know, I don't know. My only issue with that was if he's gonna eventually have a Friday the 13th birthday, and I was like, that's so, I don't like that. But they wanted him so bad to be born on June 13th. So I was like, I mean, they was like, hurry up, Kareem, hurry up, push this boy out. I was like, I can't do that. So I'm 10 centimeters at this point, and she's like, all right, I'm gonna go get the midwife and all that stuff. Sadly, it wasn't my doctor, because it was the same doctor that delivered me. My doctor is the same doctor that delivered me when my mom was pregnant with me. She delivered my little brother. So I was like, oh, that would be so sweet if she like delivered my baby, but she wasn't the one. It was just a midwife that worked there, and I don't even remember her name. I was so out of it, honestly, but she did come, and she came in. She was, you know, getting all ready and stuff, and I had my mom, my dad, my husband, and his mom in the room, and everyone's just like so excited. Everybody was actually, during the whole labor, everybody was just like lit, like just dancing, doing the baby mama challenge. I couldn't because I had the epidural already, but everybody was just having a good time. But anyway, I'm 10 centimeters, and at this point it's like 12 something. Was it 12 something? I don't know, but it's past the point where he could be born on my great grandmother's birthday. And yeah, it had to be 12 something because he was born at 1:05 a.m. So I was pushing for, it felt like 20 minutes. And as I'm pushing, they're like, I'm doing a good job pushing, they're saying. And I'm in my head, I'm just like, act like you're trying to poop, because that's what they told me. Act like you're trying to poop, act like you're trying to poop. And thing is earlier, I left this out earlier, I thought I just needed to use the bathroom, and that's all. Like, and that's why I feel like that's why I was just so calm the whole time, thinking I wasn't really in labor, when I really was in labor the whole weekend. But when I active labor, I wasn't in active labor until Monday, but I was in labor this whole time, so maybe that's why. But that's what I was just doing the whole time, like just trying to act like I was trying to use the bathroom. And so the whole time they're like, you're doing so good, you're doing so good. We're seeing the head, we see his hair, he has a lot of hair, and they're like, just keep pushing. I'm just going off of what they're saying because I'm like, I can't feel anything. Like, I feel the pressure. I feel the pressure, but I don't know how far he is. I don't know. They even asked me that I want to catch him. I was like, I'm good. But they was like, just keep going. His head is literally right there. And I looked over at my husband and he's like tearing up, like he's about to start bawling. And I was like, so I guess from that he sees him and he's here. So I push one last time and he's out. And they laid him on my chest, and I immediately, as soon as I laid eyes on him, I just started like crying, like bawling like a baby. And me and my husband just there like crying, and it was so beautiful. But he just started crying. He immediately started like holding his head up and all that stuff. But yeah, he was born at 1:05 a.m. Yeah, 1:05 a.m. 8 pounds even, 21 inches. He's so beautiful, and he looks like a mix of me and my husband. Like, he's a combination baby, really. But yeah, he was just holding up his little head, looking up at me, and he was crying before they put him on me. And as soon as they laid him on me, he was fine. Like, he just stopped crying, and I was like, oh my God, not us already like being besties. So yeah, and so his name, I did say I was gonna say his name and the meaning. His name is Luca Gabriel. Luca meaning bringer of light, and Gabriel is God is my strength. The Gabriel, like the angel in the Bible. So yeah, and it's actually so funny because my pictures that I used to announce that I was pregnant, there was the blue light and all that stuff, and it's like, oh wow, like nobody at that time knew his gender or his name. So the fact that his name means bringer of light and then it was a blue light, it was just, you know, coincidence. But yeah, that is my birth story. I don't know if I don't think I left anything out. If I did, I'll just add it into the video. But yeah, that's how my little man got here. I think he's sleeping right now. But yeah, that's how my little man got here, and I'm loving every minute of it. I am tired as hell. I'm so tired, but it's so worth it. I will literally do this all over again. And I think next time I'm gonna try to go natural, like no epidural, all that. Maybe my husband's not down for that, but I think I could do it. But because they say it feels like 10 times worse than your period cramps, and yeah, but I think I can do it, you know. But that is it for this story time. I might let you guys meet him if he's awake. I'll go see. But I'll see you guys next time. Bye.